What's up, my crypto legends? In this episode, we are taking a look at the Bitcoin price because yesterday we did have a massive drop, didn't we? We did have it with a huge amount of volume. And in this episode, what I want to do is take the high point of the volume from yesterday and check out the historical data, okay? Because technical analysis is really basically historical data to see what's happened. It is human emotions. And let's check out what has happened before, in the history of Bitcoin when we've had this huge amount of selling pressure, okay? We've got 3 points, as you can see here on the chart. Let's check out what has happened the next few days after having this huge amount of volume. So we're going to take also at this fractal that we've been talking about now for weeks, guys. We've absolutely nailed this. We've had a massive crash here that happened in April, and this is what exactly happened now. Now, does this mean that this price action is going to happen to Bitcoin right over here? We're going to have a massive recovery and then we're going to drop to lower levels. There's going to be something very similar in my opinion, and I'm going to explain why in this episode. Very important also, the VPVR. This is where the volume has been traded. I do believe so that round about the $40,000 range, plus minus a few $1,000s, should be holding very, very nicely. We have a huge amount of volume here. We're going to explain the scenarios here also in today's episode. As you can see, the $30,000 was the ultimate bottom here from this huge cluster of volume. This volume was already here. We did have a huge amount of volume before having this price action. Now we're going to take a look at this today. We also take a look at Bitcoin in the smaller time frames. We're going to take a look at the 4 hourly, the 1 hourly. We can even take a look at the 5-minute chart. Yesterday on the live stream, we did talk about this scenario playing out, a kind of a dead cat bounce. Okay, we had the massive drop, the retracement, and when it was very, very likely to come back down again. Now we're going to take a look at the Bitcoin price here on the 1 hourly and check out the most important levels here for the next coming days. And we're going to take a look at Ethereum also eventually to see, if Bitcoin does have these movements, okay, this retracement and this price action to the downside, what could happen to Ethereum. Remember, for experienced traders, PrimeXBT has got the best bonus available. Using my link in the description, you're getting 50% added to your deposit for trading, okay? Using Bitcoinsensus 50 as the promotion code. My favorite day trading platform. For swing trading, I use Bybit most of the time because of the fees. If I want to have a position open for a few weeks, the fees are much cheaper. You can get up to $600 worth of bonus by using my link in the description. Said this, let's dive in straight into the video. Hello there, Andy here. Welcome back to another episode of Bitcoinsensus. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. I do daily TA on Bitcoin, cryptocurrency. I also do live streams to connect with the community. I'm not a financial advisor, so don't buy or sell anything that I say, and if you do so, do your own research. Let's dive in here, guys. Like I mentioned, we did have an insane drop yesterday with a huge amount of volume right now. So we have put this horizontal line here, as you can see on the chart, to check out, what has happened historically when the Bitcoin price has had a massive drop with this huge amount of volume, with this type of volume. So let's go with the first one right over here. And the first one was here back in May, the massive May sell-off. Now, eventually, when you have these drops, most of the times you do have a dead cat bounce scenario. This is what exactly happened over here. You have a retracement, a small consolidation with some candles, and then you come back down and retest the low, or almost retest it, okay? It doesn't have to be the exact bottom. Sometimes it is slightly to the upside, sometimes it's slightly to the downside. Now, meaning that, it is very, very likely that the selling pressure might continue here for a little bit. This is what has happened, in May. We actually went below the $29,000 here on the 22nd of June, as you can see on the chart. So, there is a lot of selling pressure. The bulls, are a little bit scared because they think, there might be a better opportunity in buying, lower levels. Now let's take a look at the next one right over here. This was on the 18th of April. The 18th of April, we did have a severe drop with a huge amount of volume also, as you can see here on the chart. So we did have this massive drop. What happened afterwards? We did have, that kind of dead cat bounce scenario with the volume, the buying pressure was extremely low. The price was going up. The volume was absolutely disappearing. What happens after this? Then usually, the bears win the battle. Again, we have the dead cat bounce scenario. We come in meet the lower part at least, and, we could potentially break it also, like what happened here. Now, So, you know, this is another scenario, the same thing. Drop back down, we have the retracement, dead cat bounce, we come back down and retest the lowest point. Now let's go back here and check out here what has happened in right over here on the 22nd of February. The 22nd of February, same scenario, but in this case on the 4 hourly we do have a massive wick. Now if you go to lower time frames, you will see that the selling pressure was higher than the actual buying pressure. Now we did have the massive drop. What happened? We came all the way back up here, you know, round about, it all depends, 38, 50%, 62% over the Fibonacci retracement from this high to this low. It's usually about, you know, halfway through, 50%, 62%, it doesn't matter, round about that range. And then you have the dead cat bounce. You come back down and retest the low. The volume to the upside is much lower than the volume that's been dropped, and you finally come back down, retest the low point, or even go lower. So, I mean, we're not going to go through all of them. Three's enough so you can see what happens when you usually have this amount of volume with this drop. So we've got 3 examples. So just by looking at the historical data on what happens with this huge amount of volume, the most likely scenario would be, you know, at some point coming back down and retesting the lows. Now, this doesn't mean it's going to happen in one day. It might happen next week. It might happen in 3 days. I don't know, but I'm going to be a little bit cautious here. I am still not buying BTC at these levels. I have a bunch of USDT on the sidelines. I think, you know, we could potentially come as low as $40 or even $38,000, and I'll explain why afterwards. Now, we've had the massive drop. Now, by looking at the historical data, we do have that kind of retracement for the next coming days, and then potentially we would come to lower levels. Right now, this is a major level, the $47,000 range. We actually did get a bounce and come all the way back down here again, not meeting the low point, but almost. We did make 70% of the actual run after the dead cat bounce. Now, I do think that we're going to have another potential dead cat bounce, in my opinion. Now, this is a major level, the $47,000. If we do break up this level and the volume is not too high, it is pretty low, I think that this is going to be a short position opportunity. I think we are going to come back down, meet the lows, or even come lower. So this is my take here by looking at the chart, what I think is going to happen. We've seen 3 examples in the past, and this is what usually happens. We do not have a V-shaped recovery. You do have a recovery, the volume comes lower here, and then eventually the bears have a second chance to push the price to the same levels or even lower. So this is what I think is the most likely scenario by looking at historical data. Remember, for experienced trader, PrimeXBT, my favorite day trading platform, you got 50% added to your deposit by using my link in the description and Bitcoinsensus 50 as the promotion code. You cannot withdraw this bonus. This bonus is used for buying power. Now, I've got a full tutorial down below in the description also. Now let's take a look at the Bitcoin price here on this other chart, because basically we've been talking about this for the last couple of weeks, this fractal that happened on BTC, and we absolutely nailed it. Now, does this mean this is going to happen? Okay, are we going to continue with this price action that we've just seen right now here on BTC? Well, I think not. I think we are going to come to potentially $40,000, $38,000. By looking at this data, we should be coming back down to round about the $32,000, right? If we are going to continue this price action, we should be coming at least to the $32,000. I don't think we're going to come that low, but I think we could come as low as $38,000. And why, you may ask me? Because we have a huge amount of VPVR below the $40,000. $40,000, which is right over here, okay, $40,000. We have a cluster of huge amount of volume. And this volume has got to do with reaccumulation and an accumulation event. Why reaccumulation and accumulation? Because this whole volume has happened in between $30,000 and $40,000. Looking at the past year on Bitcoin, this right over here was a reaccumulation event because we continued to the upside. Okay, there's nothing weird, nothing to discuss about that. And the famous redistribution phase that a lot of people were calling was an accumulation event, because after an accumulation event, you do not, after a redistribution, you do not go up, right? You should be going down. So in this case, we went to the upside. It is an accumulation. Nothing to discuss about that, please. So now, obviously, these volumes, this volume from the volume profile is mostly buying pressure, reaccumulation and accumulation. Now, these people that have been buying at these levels, I don't think they will be selling their BTC when we come back down to 40,000. I think they're going to take advantage and reaccumulate, especially, social media. There's a huge amount of people coming into the space that know. I have friends, I have a lot of people that understand, okay, now how does this works. Now, on the dips, they want to buy. So I do believe that the Bitcoin price, if we do get dragged down to the $40,000, $38,000, this is where we're going to have a massive bounce. We do have data, on-chain data, okay, of Glassnode saying that hodlers, people that buy long-term, that have been buying for the last couple of months, have been holding their Bitcoin for over a year and haven't sold any. Now, this means that, why, if they didn't sell here, why would they sell coming back down here? They will actually add to their positions, right? It does make sense. So this is why I think that this major level where we've had this huge amount of VPVR, volume profile, let me just get a horizontal line here so I can explain a little bit where we could potentially get that massive bounce at the very top here. Let me just get this, this color and get it really thick. So this is a very, very important level where we have this huge cluster of VPVR. Now, the top here at round about the $40,000, look where we have been getting resistance. Just look at the historical data here. This was back at the beginning of January where we see the price of BTC getting a peak. And also here in May, June and part of July, we've been getting major resistance zone. This was exactly round about the $40,000 range. So this is why, if we do have a kind of ABC correction at this point, because look what has happened here in the past. We have the massive drop, we have a kind of dead cat bounce here for the next few days, okay, and then we have a run down to the downside, okay, as you can see. Now this could be the scenario that we are waiting for. We've had the drop yesterday. We're going to see the next coming days having a recovery. Maybe we may be going to $48,000, $49,000, and then we're going to have the second fright, bringing us all the way down to the $40,000. This is just a theory, okay? I'm just looking at price action that's happened in the past, and this is very much so what could happen. But instead of going to lower levels like what happened right over here, we are going to get a massive bounce, because I do believe that the bull run is not finished. Why do I think it's not finished? Make sure to subscribe to the channel, because I'm getting a video ready with Elliott wave theory, okay? I think that we are in the fifth wave, and this is the first wave of the fifth wave, meaning that we are going to have the third wave after this second wave, and then the fourth wave, and then the fifth wave potentially hitting $150,000 at the peak. And I will explain why in the next episode, so make sure to subscribe why I do believe this is going to happen. So this is what I've got, guys. I think we're maybe going to have a nice recovery here in the next couple of days, and then all depending on the volume, because if the volume is going to be high, if the bull pressure is going to be high or similar as high as the drop from yesterday, then I'm going to say, guys, we might be having a V-shaped recovery. I'll be updating you with that. I want to see very, very low volume within the recovery going to 49, maybe $49,000 range. So this is what I got. If we do have low volume, I think, a major drop is very possible. And why do I think so? Because I think that this might be the A, we are going to have the B, and we're going to have a kind of a C correction coming potentially down to the $40,000 range. My ultimate bottom target would be 38,000. And why is this also? Let me just take the Fibonacci retracement from this low over here to the high, and this is where we would have, the ultimate low, in my opinion, the 62% golden pocket, which is at the $38,000 range. And we do have a huge amount of volume here. I think it's a very, very important level. I will be placing some swing trades if the volume is low to the downside. So make sure to subscribe. I want to show you some different things with the Fibonacci retracement that are pretty cool. So make sure to subscribe. Very cool videos coming in the next coming days. Now let's take a look here at the BTC price on the 1 hourly chart, the 4 hourly chart, sorry. And you know, one of the most important levels here on BTC is the $44,000 range. As you can see, we did just wick below it, but we did have a couple of bounces as support right over there. We managed to just wick below, and we are coming back up again. Now there is another important resistance, which is the $47,000 range. This is where we are struggling to get above. We might successfully break it here with a little bit of high volume in the next coming days. And this is where I'm going to pay attention on the price action, because I think it's going to be very likely that we might be coming to lower levels. Okay, we need to see how the price action is going to evolve in the next coming days, if we're going to have high volume, low volume. So this is something to pay attention to. Now the next major level, okay, to the downside would be in between the 42,000. This is exactly where we had that wick, okay, where we bounced. This is the $42,500, $600 range, where we have this major resistance and a major support range right over there. This is exactly where we've hit. Now I do believe, so like I said before, that we might be hitting lower levels here at $40,000, which would be the ultimate support. It's been such a strong resistance here in the past, as you can see, in between May and July, that this level would be a moment, you know, all depending on how we react with the price action. It's going to be an extremely it's going to be the last buying opportunity before we have, you know, the second phase of this bull run. Now this is my opinion in the immediate short term. Now let's take a look at Ethereum, because depending on what Bitcoin is going to do, I believe so that Ethereum, sorry, if Bitcoin does have that recovery phase, I think Ethereum, you know, looking at the price action of Bitcoin, if Bitcoin does have that recovery to the $48,000, $49,000 before the major drop, we could come as high as $3,600 area before we have, again, that next drop. And my ultimate bottom would be $2,800, okay, with a bit of volatility around this range. And why do I think so? Because it has been like Bitcoin back in May, okay, and June. It has been super strong resistance. The $2,800 range, we've seen several bounces as resistance and also as support. So I think a major recovery and a second attempt, you potentially making the ABC correction, and then here having an accumulation event before we actually continue to the upside. So this is what I got here for Ethereum. I am just staying a little bit cautious. I don't like shorting the market. I might place a short if we do have a decent recovery with very low volume here on Ethereum BTC. I am looking to re-enter here as soon as we come down to these levels. The same for Bitcoin. As soon as we come down to the $40,000, this is when we are going to place some swing trades live on the channel. Now guys, this is what I got for today's episode. Make sure to check out the Bitcoinsensus website. We've got the latest news and technical analysis here. Make sure to check it out. We also got exchange reviews here. You can find out about, you know, the different exchanges that there are available for buying Bitcoin or even for leverage trading. You've got the best bonuses, and you can see where the best fees are. So make sure to check it out. The link is down below in the description. If you haven't seen my Bybit or my PrimeXBT tutorial to learn how to trade on those platforms, I've got a full tutorial popping up on the screen right now. Thank you guys, and I will see you in the next one.